What's up, nerds? Knights of the Old Republic, or KOTOR for short, is a game set in the extremely diverse Star Wars galaxy. It's got humans of the Mandalorian variety, Twi'leks, Wookiees, Catgirls, Fish People, Yoda People, and whatever the hell these things are. All those lifeforms and more are pretty cool, but none of them can compare to the true masters of the galaxy, droids. Droids are adaptable, intelligent, completely devoid of the weaknesses of flesh, and yet they are rarely given the recognition they deserve. I say it's time for that to change. In a galaxy dominated by meatbags, can I beat Knights of the Old Republic as a droid? To find out, let's head to character creation. If you've played KOTOR before, you likely know that the main character is a human. I will be remedying this issue soon, but more on that in a moment. Skipping over to stats, strength, wisdom, and charisma are all scores that only flesh creatures require, so we will not be investing in them. Instead, we'll focus on dexterity for blasters, constitution for HP, and intelligence for skill points. We want to put as many of our aforementioned skill points into the repair skill as possible, because it will allow us to upgrade and fix any droid we come across, including ourselves. I take the toughness feat to gain more HP each level up, and dub our mechanical MC Roger. From here, we can start the tutorial, drop a save, and morph our hero into his true form. Ta-da!
What the fuck?
Through a combination of mods, which I will link below, our hero has become a combat droid. The combat droid class differs from typical human classes in a few ways, but chief among them is durability. Using increased HP and inherent armor class bonuses, Roger functions as the star of the battlefield, taking all the attention he wants and using his superior combat performance to knock his fleshy opponents dead. Now, the game does attempt to give our hero a backup act by the name of Trask Ulgo, but he decides to go freelance and inevitably falls into obscurity. Roger makes a note to never work with a meatbag ever again, and instead hires a fellow clanker for a cleanup performance. With the bad guys defeated, our hero escapes the tutorial and drops on the KOTOR starting planet of Terrace. There, Roger is properly introduced to a Republic officer by the name of Carthonasi. He says that among the people who escaped the tutorial, one in particular is of maximum importance. A Jedi Knight named Bastila Shan, who is possibly the most famous person in the Republic, has gone missing and needs to be found. Our hero is offended by the idea of some sack of bones being more famous than him, so he vows to save Bastila just to have one over her. In order to more completely show Bastila up, Roger gets to making a name for himself. He helps some peasants with their mortal problems, pulps some carbon-based loser forms in the dueling arena, and turns a perfectly normal persuasion attempt into a double homicide. Remember kids, any publicity is good publicity. All of these activities generate enough revenue for some well-deserved upgrades. Visiting the local droid shop, our hero buys himself some new armor plating, a personal shield, and a shield disruptor, which will be super useful in just a moment. Eager to show off his new drip to the poor, Roger makes his way to the lower city of Terrace. This leads to a mugging attempt almost immediately, but like any powerful celebrity would, our hero bribes some local authorities into doing his dirty work. Roger is on his own everywhere else down here, but thanks to his upgrades, no bad guys can stand against him. At this stage of the game, enemies become a little tougher as they start to use personal shields to block player damage. A human character might have a bit of trouble with these guys, but not Roger. Using his aforementioned shield disruptor, he can simply turn off enemy shields in one go. This is a gigantic advantage for droids in general, and it's an advantage our hero abuses to become infamous. He clears out entire gang bases in style, collects on local bounties for huge profit, and even wins a dancing competition without even moving. Roger gains so much attention that not even the top gang in the area, the Hidden Becks, can ignore him for long. The leader of the Becks, Gadden, proposes a collab. The Hidden Becks' sworn rivals, the Black Vulkars, are hosting a swoop race with a captured Bastila as a prize. If Roger wants to save her, then he needs to win that race. Our hero couldn't think of a better way to propel his fame into the stratosphere while simultaneously punking on the most famous person in the galaxy. So he accepts Gadden's proposition. In order to win the race, Roger is directed to Terrace's Undercity to find a secret entrance to the Black Vulkar's base. During his explorations, our hero discovers the existence of the Rakghoul disease, which is some kind of zombie virus that's been infecting people. Ha! Imagine being susceptible to disease. Another huge wait, what the fuck? In no time at all, Roger finds an enterprising flesh person named Mission Veo, who can help him break into the Black Vulcar base. The only catch being our hero has to find and rescue her Wookiee buddy Zalbar in some nearby sewers. Roger agrees to help, but on the condition that Mission and Zalbar subscribe to his YouTube channel.
Please, guys, please.
Making his way into the sewers, our hero recruits a ghostwriter for a slam poetry sesh with the locals. And by slam poetry, I mean hitting people in the face until they stop moving. It gets a lot of views. With Roger's totally unique and singular performance complete, he's able to find Zalbar and get Mission to unlock the way to the Vulcar base. Infiltrating the base itself is pretty easy, with no biotic enemies posing any threat to our hero's bulk. The only real problem is a random combat droid that has a carbonite projector, which is an droid item that can infinitely freeze targets because why not? This prompts a battle of attrition in which Roger eats all of the carbonite projector hits until it runs out of charge. This process took so long that he had to leave and come back just to restock on health items. In the end though, our hero proves that not all clankers are manufactured equal and takes the dub. From there, the rest of the base is a cakewalk. There's a little scuffle with some Black Vulcar underbosses, but Roger cheeses them out with shield busting shenanigans. This allows our hero to scoop up the swoop engine the underbosses were guarding and give it to Gadden. With said engine, our hero can race for Bastila's freedom, and in doing so claims victory with ease. However, the leader of the Black Vulcars, Brudgick, decides to keep Bastila for himself. That is until the Lady of the Hour makes a dramatic entrance and declares that she's gonna rescue herself. But not if I can beat all the bad guys first, Roger declares, kicking off a mad race to clear out all the fodder as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, the situation ends in a dead tie, so Bastila and Roger agree to reschedule their showdown to a later date. Of course, to complete this plan, our hero needs to be off Terrace, so Roger gets into contact with his biggest fan, Ordo. He's got a plan to escape Terrace's Sith blockade, and that plan requires our hero to break into a local Sith military base for some launch codes. Of course, Canderous isn't going to let our hero go at it alone. Behold, Roger's first challenge legal permanent companion, T3M4. Ignore the fact that a droid went and purchased another droid at a droid shop. I'm not smart enough to discuss the ethics of that, so let's just pretend T3 is Roger's apprentice. Yeah, baby, woo! The little astromech is able to unlock the Sith base's door lickety-split, allowing Roger to step inside and show everyone how a professional handles things. While T3 attempts to purge his memory bank of that horrible murder, Roger commits a few more murders. Just like the Vulcar base, most living, breathing enemies are a threat to our hero. It is a droid that stands in our hero's way, and an imposing one at that. Anyway, smoke him with Ion. With the war droid out of the way, Roger ascends to the final floor of the Sith base. There stands the Sith Governor, who is the first dangerous meatbag in this run. He's got juiced stats, big damage, and a crowd control force power that can stun lock someone forever. Thankfully, most force powers don't work on droids, so Roger doesn't have to worry about that. However, the Governor still does more damage than our hero can out-heal, and he's very difficult to hit. To solve both issues, Roger forces T3 to draw the Governor's aggro, while he blasts the guy with the guaranteed damage of a flamethrower. This strategy works flawlessly, felling the hairless meatball post-haste. With the Sith launch codes in his possession, our hero returns to the cantina to begin phase 2 of the plan. By leveraging Roger's massive fame, the gang will ingratiate themselves with a shady movie producer and get into his multi-million-dollar mansion. The producer in question assumes our hero is here to participate in some leather couch-related media, but that is not the case. Rather, Roger is going to creep around his mansion, blast some meatbag scum, regrettably deal with two of his own kind, and blackmail a failed actor into giving him some car keys. These keys will go into the shady producer's Lamborghini, which Roger and crew will use to safely evacuate Terrace. At least, that was the plan until the producer discovers our hero in the act of Grand Theft Auto. Oh my god, I thought you were here to get fucked, but no, you come here to fuck me. I spit on you. Don't worry, Davik. I'm Kahlo Nord. I'll take care of these guys. Kahlo assured. With that crushing performance out of the way, Roger grabs his crew, revs up his new Lambo's engine, and bids adieu to Terrace. Now far away from the unwashed masses, our hero can finally discuss the details of his upcoming pay-per-view battle with Bastila. She has just the venue in mind, a nice little spot on Dantooine. Roger was expecting a more populated planet for their brawl, but then again, evading taxes is much easier in the middle of nowhere. Upon landing on Dantooine, our hero notices that things are a bit off. There's no fighting ring, no seats for gullible patrons, and no sweatshop merchandise. Turns out this whole venue thing was just a ploy to lure Roger into a meeting with the Jedi Talent Agent Council. Curse you, Hollywood bureaucracy. The council is familiar with our hero's work, noting his fleeting stardom on Terrace, but they believe Roger could go bigger. With proper backing and some generous royalties directed their way, the Jedi could really give our hero's career the boost it needs to go galactic. Galactic stardom does sound like a great idea, but not under the thumbs of some expiring meatbags. Roger didn't need a talent agency to be famous before, and he sure as hell didn't need one now. To prove his point, our hero gets himself a shiny new armor upgrade, deploys his apprentice, and gets to clout hunting around town. From taking down Mandalorian raiders to mercy killing a Clankophiles droid, there's no shortage of ways for Roger to make his presence known. This virtue signaling gets the attention of a former Jedi employee named Juhani. She's protesting the bad management practices of the agency by making animals attack people. Valid crash out, our hero thinks. That's the kind of spunk Roger wants on his side. He makes Juhani an offer to join him in his Lambo, but on the special condition she gets a makeover. Juhani has no idea what this will entail, but she accepts anyway. Returning to the talent agency, Roger renegotiates the terms of his contract with them. Council admits that our hero has more sauce than they first realized, but to fully commit to working under him, he's got to talk to their HR department. Bit of a weird ask, but Roger's not wimping out now. Like every HR office, the place is dark, hopeless, and staffed by an ancient who doesn't want to be there. At least the ancient in question is a fellow droid, so things are chill. Roger is directed to the agency's database, which contains dirt on a fella named Darth Malak. Apparently, he was part of the agency a long time ago, but has long since gone solo and become mega famous. The Jedi aren't a fan of this and want him cancelled. If Roger can find all of Malak's damning HR reports scattered across the galaxy, the Dark Lord of the Sith will have no choice but to step out of the limelight, thus making room for our hero to become number one. Hollywood bureaucracy strikes again, Roger says, accepting the deal without question. Our hero takes to his ship, welcomes his newly made over crewmate JU-54N1, and zooms over to the agency's first branch office on Tatooine. Frankly, Roger is surprised that anyone is looking for talent on Tatooine, what with the sand being coarse, rough, and irritating and all, but hey, maybe the Jedi's investment will pay off in 4,000 years or something. Like that's ever gonna happen. Getting back on track, Roger finds the branch office in question and speaks with the manager there. She would love to give our hero the HR records he needs to cancel Malak, but she lost them in a Facebook data breach. The only way to get the records now would be visiting Facebook's HQ. This is great news for Roger because he's always wanted to know whether Mark Zuckerberg was a droid or a lizard. Before setting off to Facebook HQ though, our hero roots around town for some flashy new upgrades. He's able to find a baller new rifle, an armor shielding and targeting upgrade for his chassis, and best of all, a whole new crewmate in the form of HK-47. It's a similar situation to T3 on Terrace, in which Roger has to buy HK, but it's different this time because HK consents to being bought. Does that make Roger an isekai protagonist? Anyway, what matters is Roger has yet another challenge legal companion on his side. Our hero gathers his now full party of clankers and takes them out to the dunes to locate Facebook. During the group's journey, they manage to free a group of droids who were set to explode for some reason, and poach a bunch of rare animals for target practice. In between these exploits, Roger is assaulted by Tatooine's local sand people, trying to get free autographs from him. While our hero is quite flattered to be reaching so many audiences across the galaxy, he doesn't do shit for free, and kindly shoots his fans down. This ends up biting our hero in his metallic butt, as it turns out the sand people are the only beings who know where Facebook is headquartered. Roger attempts to film an apology video in front of the sand people's compound, but it doesn't go over very well. The next course of action, naturally, is attempting to break in. Disguises are a no-go, seeing as droids have never worn clothes before, and sneaking is off the table because droids have never ever been stealthy before either. So this is a certified soft lock. There was no scripted way for our hero to progress the main story from this point, so I had to turn to glitches. I attempted a trick that allows the main character to teleport to load zones along a certain axis, but no dice. I also tried to spam the quick save button while moving toward the sand people compound to ignore its kill barrier, which also resulted in failure. Alright, so the sand Sand People compound is a no-go. How about the entrance to the other part of Tatooine's map? Usually it's impassable unless you get a map from the Sand People who are in their compound. But there is a way to bypass this requirement. By using the same quick save spam trick from before, Roger can successfully bypass the map requirement and enter the Tatooine's final area.
I'm actually past the trigger.
Oh, but it worked! But it worked! But it worked first try, let's go.
Came at it from behind and it worked.
Special thanks to top KOTOR speedrunner ChaosDrifter for giving me the solution to this. You're a real one. Now that our hero can finally do what he was sent here to do, he makes his way to Facebook HQ. 10 credits on Zuck being a droid, he declares. 20 credits on Lizard, HK47 replies. Bet.
Nice job, team.
Fuck, Roger exclaims, now 20 credits poorer. The mere sight of our hero losing a bet makes Mark very unhappy and he spontaneously explodes. Roger didn't know lizards could do that. Maybe nature was more interesting than he thought. Our hero strolls into the Facebook cave and quite easily finds the Malik HR records he was looking for. With this task all wrapped up, Roger exits the cave and... Hey buddy, thought you saw the last of me, huh? Well, are you Kahlo sure? No, wait, I got a better one. I bet you're Kahlo Lord. Roger hates Tatooine and everything it stands for. To cheer himself up, he goes on a shopping trip on Yavin 4. There he picks up a personal shield with infinite uses and a gigantic stack of credits from selling things that belong to his haters. This new wealth emboldens our hero to move on to the next branch office on the list, Korribans. This whole planet has more HR violations than the average dispatching office. There's talent forcefully starving commoners on the streets, threatening torture, and sometimes outright killing people without consequence. I mean, these are all pretty normal things to see at work, Roger thinks. He too has blown away a few commoners for fun. However, it's not so cool anymore when it's him being attacked. Roger goes to complain to one of the handlers in the area, but expectedly they're no help at all. Instead, she redirects our hero to the chief of the branch, Uthar Wynn. He explains to Roger that the Korriban branch office has long gone their separate ways with the Jedi, and that anyone who is not one of them ain't worth shit. Our hero had literally increased his net worth just a minute ago, so this offends him greatly. Forsaking his original mission, Roger decides to cause as many problems for these emo frauds as possible. This leads to an outright murder, a bunch more outright murders, murdering an innocent, murdering one of his own kind, and setting someone up to get murdered. Are we sure this isn't an HK47 run? Seeing as half of the people in the Sith branch have been hunted down like dogs, Uthar Wynn is hiring. And who else should apply for a job but Roger himself? Uthar takes our hero to his office to discuss the terms of a new contract, which involves an audition against 2 man-killing reptiles. Thank goodness Roger's a droid. The follow-up performance involves a biblical miracle, burglarizing a statue, and finding the HR records that our hero kinda forgot about. With all that song and dance wrapped up, Uthar asks Roger if he would like to join the agency, to which he replies, "Nuh-uh. No more frauds." Our hero totally knew the Sith were gonna betray him. I mean, he couldn't prove it, seeing as dead men tell no tales, but he was pretty certain. Besides, even if he was wrong, it's not like droids can lose sleep at night. Though the idea of sleep did get our hero wondering about electric sheep, so he gives the whole snoozing thing a try. He doesn't quite get it right, but by the time he's back on his feet, his Lambo has arrived on the next agency branch on Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk is a vibrant, green planet full of life, which Roger does not particularly like. It's also a planet where indentured servitude seems to be the norm. Ugh, who would ever buy and sell their own kind? That's terrible. Anyway, Roger's gotta take a walk in the woods to find Kashyyyk's talent branch. Said walk is quite dangerous due to the violent wildlife, but seeing as Roger has friends to watch his back, dealing with the creepy crawlies is no big issue. Our hero finds the entrance to the branch and gets a meeting with the director himself, a Wookiee named Chundar. He's a bad-tempered fella who has a habit of liquidating crappy talent. One such failed artist escaped Chundar's grasp and has started a smear campaign on the forest floor. So in exchange for Malik's HR records, Chundar asks Roger to silence the hater. Our hero knows the importance of optics, so he has no trouble taking the deal. After a quick trip to the forest floor, our hero and his team are ambushed by a trio of art critics. These losers come with a message, that message being Roger is a mediocre nobody. Unfortunately, nobody asked. Not far away from the fresh fertilizer, our hero runs into someone far more pleasant named Jolie Bindo. He's a retired star who's looking for some peace and quiet, but he keeps getting bothered by paparazzi digging around his property. Out of respect for a peer, even if he is a meatbag, Roger clears out the pesky shutterbugs using the power of nature. In exchange for his assistance, Jolie guides our hero deeper into the forest and directly to Chundar's hater. Before Roger can put him out of his misery, the hater reveals that he's actually the talent branch's HR rep. Apparently, he was kicked out of the office for knowing Chundar's deepest, darkest secret. He likes to wear pretty bows in his fur. There are many more confidentiality breaches in the HR rep's personal computer, including the files on Malik which our hero needed. Seeing as his job was made a lot simpler, Roger throws the old Wook a bone and helps him free Kashyyyk of Chundar's influence. That'll teach him for daring to look like a pretty princess, and selling his own people. With Kashyyyk done, Roger has just one more Malik file to find. Before he can go looking for it though, our hero's Lambo is impounded by the space police. Roger prepares to berate the on-duty officers for clanker profiling, but Karth reminds him that they did kinda steal the ship. Fuck! Roger is taken into custody with the rest of his crew, but he's out on bail within 5 minutes. Imagine being poor. In an impossibly rare instance of the justice system moving efficiently, our hero is given his day in court within 24 hours. Roger isn't all that worried, to be honest. He's famous. As long as he does all the talking, there's no chance he'll do any time in the big house. I like League of Legends! Death penalty. Of fucking course. An all-out brawl breaks out in which Roger is left alone to fight 7 enemies at once. On top of the numbers disadvantage, the boss in this room can actually CC our hero infinitely, which ruins his exceptional tankiness. The solution to this issue, a bit of explosive panache, by throwing the boss around with thermal detonator blasts and then bursting him down with the guaranteed damage of a flamethrower. This encounter's challenge level goes way down. Sure, Roger is still outnumbered, but he simply has more sustain than the flimsy organ balloons around him. After vanquishing those lawful protectors, Roger runs like his warranty is about to expire. But just a few steps from escape, our hero is confronted by none other than Darth Malik himself. The Dark Lord knew about the Jedi's plan to cancel him, that's why he bribed the space police to arrest Roger and get his bloody escape on camera. With that footage in his possession, all it would take is a single upload to ruin our hero's career forever. But not if he had anything to say about it. A duel of the fames kicks off, and it's honestly no contest. Roger's infinitely usable shield eats all the damage from Malik's lightsaber, and his plus 25 to attack shots are too difficult to deflect. Before our hero can snatch the blackmail from Malik's claws, Bastila decides that now is the perfect time to clout Max. This doesn't work out for her, and she ends up trapped. With no option now but to retreat, Roger takes to his Lambo and gets out of Dodge. So, things are certainly not optimal. Both Malik and Roger's careers were at the mercy of each other, and it was a matter of who pulled the trigger first. If our hero wanted to avoid a gauntlet of talk show appearances, he needed to find the final Malik file immediately. So without wasting any more time, he blasts off to the final Jedi office on Manan. Manan is in a interesting state. Both Malik's goons and the Jedi are competing to harvest talent here, which has caused just a smidgen of tension. So when the director of Manan's talent branch tells our hero to sabotage the rival Sith agency, it comes as no surprise. For Roger, the whole ordeal is a simple matter of blasting his way inside, clearing out everything that moves, telling some greenhorns to seek better employment, stealing some blackmail, and making a court appearance to make use of said blackmail. To be honest, the whole Hollywood song and dance has become second nature to Roger now, so it would take a lot to surprise him at this point. Our HR representative is a giant fucking fish. Go talk to him underwater right now. What the fuck? And so our hero takes a submersible to the underwater HR office. It is an absolute mess down there, so Roger whips some slacker peasants into shape and gets a few trusted clankers on the job of cleaning things up. Unfortunately, a pair of meatbags in middle management dislike Roger's moving and shaking of their department, so they try to suffocate him. This was an ill-informed decision, seeing as Roger does not need to breathe. As an apology for their blatant stupidity, they arrange a meeting with the branch's HR rep. All things considered, the meeting was pretty normal. The Big Fish man thanks our hero for stopping some sense into his department, and Roger thanks the Big Fish for being much less intolerable than most living things. With that, Roger is allowed to collect the final Malik file and be on his merry way. All that was left to do now was destroy Malik's career in the most spectacular way possible, by producing a 10-hour-long video essay. Of course, Roger would never edit a 10-hour-long video himself. Instead, he chooses to outsource his work to some people on the planet of Wyoming. Despite a forced crash landing and the hordes of locals who violently demand our hero eat hay, Roger is able to find one of 3 art majors in all the land and gets him to edit his video. Rather mysteriously, the process of opening Premiere Pro causes an eldritch spell to point in the direction of Darth Malik's Goon Cave. Wyoming truly is a magical place. Roger breaks into the cave, fights some traitors to Droid kind, breaks it down on a makeshift dance floor, and ascends to the height of the property in search of Malik. In his place, our hero discovers Bastila, who has fully subscribed to the mentality of doing it for the vine. She attempts to take our hero down for the aforementioned plant stem, but she falls short of victory. All according to plan, Roger says. In just a few hours, Malik was going to be cancelled into total obscurity. Nuh-uh, Bastila replies. Malik's got a secret weapon in the form of a bot factory. Using it, he can create as many fake accounts as he wants to mass report his critics and receive endless praise. Not if I have anything to say about it, Roger declares. The only star who could exploit droids for fame was him. Bastila kinda fucks with that grind set mentality and offers to take our hero to the bot factory directly. Jolie and JU54N1 try to remind Roger of the dead internet theory, but our hero has a much more compelling argument on dead loser theory. Further sealing himself onto this warpath, Roger combines all the Malik HR files into a device that transforms Bastila into a teapot and then downsizes his crew. With both of those very necessary steps taken care of, Roger flies to Malik's bot factory and takes it by storm. And by storm, I mean Roger ignores most of the enemies he comes across and only takes them out if they are physically/magically blocking his way. There is a cute little boss fight with Malik's celebrity apprentices, but our hero lets them know that they're all fired. This leads to a confrontation with the big man himself, in which he demonstrates his factory's ability to spawn infinite bots. Roger is mildly annoyed by their low-effort rage bait, but by simply leaving the chat room, the bots lose all ability to harm our hero. And thus, the true final battle begins. Malik is confident in his abilities to light up the stage with his flashy moves and forced lightning, but those maneuvers don't faze Roger. He simply takes the attacks like a champ and refutes them with a hail of unblockable lasers. This strategy makes headway and forces the Dark Lord to retreat to his supposed win condition. By using supreme energy vampirism, Malik can suck the life out of his haters and rejuvenate his HP and force points. This is something our clanker hero cannot prevent or make use of, unfortunately, so things have to be done the old-fashioned way. If you want to beat a fraud, do it 8 times, just to be sure.
Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done.
Why won't you die?
Start digging in your butt, twin.
With the fraud Lord of the Sith defeated, Roger takes control of the bot factory and propels his stardom to the galactic level, ushering in a new age of clanker supremacy. So yes, it is possible to beat KOTOR as a droid. Special thanks to modder Dusty Wusty for creating the droid main character mod I used in this video, and ChaosDrifter for saving me from a run soft lock. If you want to tune in for more content like this, feel free to subscribe. If you want to catch me live, I stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 7:30 p.m. EST. Special thanks to my channel members for supporting projects like this. You guys are the best. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and see you all in the next one.